verse 14. And the
bit tired. She ain't bit tired. Keep going, Jacob.
verse 14. And the boys grew up after, and their father gave them a position in the land. Cain was the tiller of the ground, and Abel was the keeper of the sheep.
Come up here and read. We listening still. So we in the book of Jasher, chapter 1. Yeah, that's me. That's in modern Hebrew. Peace, love, and light to everybody chiming in. Barak Yahuwah. All praise, all honor, all glory be unto the Most High. Let everything that is said and spoken be said and spoken in spirit and in truth. Let the Father's word be true, and may He continue with you on this day and forevermore. And allow this day for you to be full of wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and revelation. There are a lot of things being revealed around these times. Gonna start seeing a lot of people fall off in their spirit. You know, it's truly faith testing time for you to really know who really down for the Father's word, who's down to be a part of His will, and just be a doer of what He said do. You know, and if you sit back and pay attention, you will see the Most High, you know, pricking the spirit that's within them, and that spirit that's within them is manifesting into, you know, those inner intentions. They become outward, right? So when we see these things, we should not fret, you know, and remain humble, and keep the Father first, you know. Keep the Most High first, because you're going to see some people, peace, love, and light, peace, love, and light, much love, man. You're going to see some people that that you trusted in, you know, that you invested time and energy in. You're going to see them shake, you know what I'm saying? And the Most High, it's a process of dividing the dividing of the wheat from the tare. You know, it's a major process. When you divide the wheat from the tare, there's a lot that transpires. There's a lot that you have to see. I'm going to need y'all to be quiet. It's a lot that takes place. So, we in the book of Jasher right now. But the topic or the subject matter today, I'm going to be going over, are you a husband? And you know I'm most definitely going to have to follow up with the question, are you a wife? But I'm going to do that in another segment. But I'm going to address my brothers today and truly ask the question, are you a husband? Well, we're going to finish getting this reading out of the book of Jasher, chapter 1.
Verse 15.
Keep going, Jacob.
And it was at the expiration of a few years that they were brought in approximating offering to the Lord, and Cain brought the fruit of the ground, and Abel brought from the firstlings of his flock, from the fat thereof. And Yah turned and inclined to Abel's and his offering, and a fire came down from the Lord.
That's good right there, because those offerings were offerings of increase, right? Things that they've increased. And Cain didn't give the first fruit of his substance, but Abel did, right? So we talking about, are you a husband? So that goes into what husbandry, right? Okay. Keep going.
What I had. So we at 15, right?
I don't know, you reading, baby.
Let me see. And the boys grew up, and their father gave them possession in the land, and Cain was a tiller of the ground, and Abel a keeper of sheep. And it was at the expiration of a few years that they brought an approximating offering, and Cain brought forth the fruit of the ground, and Abel brought forth the firstling of his flock from the fat thereof. And Elohim turned and inclined to Abel and his offering, and a fire came down from the Most High, from the Shamayim, and consumed it. Hallelujah. We can stop it right there. Then we can stop it right there, and we'll pick up. What verse was that? What verse was next?
16.
Verse 16. We'll pick up at 16. So the reason why I'm gonna stop it right there is because I'm gonna stop it right there because this is that's gonna help me go into what I'm gonna go into. Key, what's up? Nah, not right now. I'll let you do it later, but not right now. Right? So that was key. Peace, love, and light to everybody chiming in. So the Most High inclined to Abram's gift because he brought the firstling of his flock that he tended to. He brought the firstling of his flock. So then it's like all that we increase was YAHs first anyway. It was the Father's first anyway. So why wouldn't we give him the first of what we increase? Because we got it from him anyway. Right? Why wouldn't we do that? Right? So my question today is, are you a husband? Are you a husband? Are you designed to be a husband? Right? So our basic understanding of what a husband is a married man. Somebody capable of being married. Everybody capable of being married. Shalom, shalom, King. Peace, love, and light to you. Everybody capable of saying, yeah, this is my wife. Yeah, I'm her husband. You know what I'm saying? And things of that sort. But I think we forget to really break down the etymology of what a husband is. Right? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna ask this question. You know, because even in me posing this question, I had to ask myself. So as I'm going through scriptures and notes and etymology of things, I don't want to bring shame to the Father's name, and I don't want to be boastful. You know, so the whole objective. Come in here and sit down. No. Put it back and come in here and sit down.
Sit down, Yaleo.
So the whole objective is to try to abide in the light of the Father, so that we can receive all of these attributes necessary for us to carry out in all of these manners. Because as we're husbands are not just husbands to wives; they're brothers, fathers, friends, companions. You know what I'm saying? Like we are. Counselors, priests, all of these things in one. You know, so this aspect of us being a husband most definitely has we need to really get a broader perspective of it. So the basic understanding is that a man married to a woman, or from the simple form. But when you break down the etymology, Shabbat Shalom, King, Shabbat Shalom. And when you break down the etymology of a husband, the HUS in front of the husband, which is hus, which means house, right? Band, at the end of the word, what is it, 2 syllable, husband. The second syllable is band, which means to occupy, tiller of the soil, right? So in full is the master of a house, a male head of household, right? The very first, this word is significant to power, authority, and leadership, right? The first pretense of this word, which is HUS, represents house. We have to be keepers of the home. When we inquire companionship from women, we have to go to the Father. So the Father was the keeper of the home. So then, therefore, you have to get permission from the Father in order to take his daughter's hand in marriage. So if we are masters of the home, we're raising our children, raising our daughters to be prepared for the role of a wife, right? What task do we have? all of the things that we expect from a woman, we have to obtain. Because we are masters of the household. So then if we know that we want our women to do this, that, and the third, we have to be masters of all that we require, or masters of all that we expect from the women that we bring in, or the ones that we entertain. Because again, the word husband also ties to the word husbandry, which is to care, cultivate, the care and cultivation and breeding of crops and animals. That's what husbandry is. So basically, you're a farmer, right? So you tend to the soil, you care for the soil, you water the soil, you give food to the soil so that it can help the seed, right? So this word husband is taken lightly from an English perspective, but when you really dig into it, it's a great task behind this word, and us taking this role and this duty of this form of leadership, you got a great task in being a master of a house. Tiller of the soil, like, it's one who brings forth an increase. When you think about husbandry, basically a farmer, is one who brings in an increase. You got some brothers out here teaching the word, ready to give correction and biblical understanding to a woman when his role is not even secured. We got to secure our roles as husbands before we can even think to say what the duties of a woman is. We got to secure our role. That's first and foremost. Our role got to be secured first. If we don't secure our role as being caregivers, knowing how to till the soil, knowing how to bring forth an increase, it's null and void for you having information and using this information to manipulate. Because if you don't use the information properly, you're using the information to manipulate, to draw people to yourself and not truly drawing them to the Father. So if we're husbandmen, masters of the house, right? We're supposed to be able to obtain all the attributes necessary to give to our wives, right? So the women came to the Father's house. So he had to be the master of his house. So you have to go to the Father in order to even obtain relation with his daughter. You got to go to the Father first. So to be a husband is to be a master of the house, right? But you got...
Cut it down, please.
I've witnessed brothers come into relationships and just demand that type of authority with no real background of even witnessing a man be a husband to a wife. No real background of even witnessing their grandparents in relation with one another, right? So it's crucial that we truly understand our role and our duty. It's one who brings forth an increase. We are masters of the house. That's what the HUS in front of husband stand for. Master of the house. House. HUS in front of husband stands for house. Master of the house. Male head of household. Right? So if we're obtaining, nothing is just given to us, and nothing can be obtained by demand. It can only be gifted to you. It can either be gifted to you by the Father, or it can be gifted to you by Hashatan. And sometimes you got to think about it like this. Sometimes we get into these relationships and we find out that these people that we're in relationships with are not even our significant other. Because we do a lot of things out of line. Had you went to the Father first, the Father would have given you permission, and had your father been involved in your life as a man, he would have let you know, like, nah, she ain't it. Because the scripture said, don't, when they speak about relations outside of our culture, it says don't take their daughters for your sons, and don't give your daughters to their sons, or they'll cause them to err. Now, even in the same instance, you have worldly perspectives, You have people who raise their children from a worldly base. And you have others who raise their children from a Christian background. Then you have Hebrew background and so forth and so on. But we gotta be men strong enough to check the background. Check the children's background. Who are they father? Who are they father's father? So when you do that, you will know then, like, oh, I don't want you dating him because of his father, and how his father move and operate. It's very important and imperative that we know the seed line of who we're dealing with. Even for us. Even for us. It's imperative. So, when a man obtains a woman, he has to go to the father, the master of the house. He has to go to the master of the house, right? So, let's jump into scripture real quick. We was reading yesterday, and it was telling Abraham was telling his servant to go to his father's house and find a mate go to his father's house and find a mate fit for his son. Not of the women of the Canaanites, but from his kindred. Because they already knew that they had the same moral background. Right? We're going to jump to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Let me do this. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 3. It says, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. So benevolence is the desire to do good to others, well wishes, right? So as a husband or as a farmer looking at husbandry, we desire to do well with the soil that we till. We desire to do well and wish our crops well by pouring water into the soil, onto the seed, right? We are caregivers. The word husband and husbandry tie into the same. A husband cares for the household. As working in husbandry is one who tends to and cares for crop and family. Peace and blessings, out. Peace, love, and light to you and the fam as well, Lucky. So it's a great duty and a great task as husbands that we have. The desire to do good. It says, render to the wife due benevolence, right? So if we are tillers of the soil, or consider ourselves to be husbands, then we would be compared to farmers which till the soil and wish to do good and bring forth what? An increase. Bring forth what else? Good fruit. So all that we know and understand from the Father giving us these instructions, we should be able to teach it into our home, teach it in our homes, so that we can bring forth an increase for the Father's sake. Not just for our own benefit, but an increase for the Father, right? So these are the desires to do good. We're supposed to teach these things. That's benevolence. Teaching the desire to do good and wishing one another well, right? Rendering due benevolence. And likewise the wife with the husband, right? Let's jump to Exodus chapter 21. Exodus chapter 21, real quick. Right? Exodus chapter 21, verse 1. It says, if a man take him another wife, feed her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. How much more for one wife, right? It says her food, her raiment, her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. If he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money, right? So there are attributes that come with marrying into, marrying or going to a father, receiving his daughter, because in her father's house she was taught all of these things about the duties of marriage, raiment, food, and things of this sort. So if we diminish it, meaning make less of it, make it as if it is nothing, then we don't deserve to have one wife or two. We cannot make less of what their job is, right? So we do a lot of finger pointing. We say, woman need to do this, a woman need to do that, a woman need to do this, a woman need to do that. The minute we have an altercation or a miscommunication, it's always referring back to the woman being wicked, right? In most relationship cases. But we really got to check ourselves and put ourselves under subjection to if we are acting according, or we are tending to, our possession properly, because the desire to do good and well wishes most definitely come from the motivation and the encouragement behind the master of the house, right? So if these orders and instructions are given and they are followed properly, there shouldn't be a problem. But we as men gotta know the order and instructions to give, because we gotta face it. Like we in a society right now where the young men and the young women didn't have a father, and their fathers weren't in their lives. We don't have fathers in our background, so we got to be retaught and regroomed on how to even be men. Like the young men and the young women, we were all raised by women, so we have like this imbalance of emotion, right? Because we were raised by women, and we don't have that true balance of authority, that true balance of strict male figure that comes in to set things in order, that one that you just ain't gonna play with, right? Because once the order is set and the order is established, you either gonna break it and leave, or you gonna stay because you see the protection and you see that the father is moving and dealing with the head of the household. It's imperative, because as we were raised just by a woman alone, that in itself is imbalanced. It's very imperative that fathers are in the household today. I know a lot of young fathers that didn't have fathers, that are fathers to their children. You know what I'm saying? That can't be taught. That's just genetic. That's in our genetic makeup. That's if we turn from the world and not do as the world do, and then we can truly tap into who we are, our existence, and what necessities come with our existence as men. We can tap into it because we turn from the world, because the world gives us an image, or it gives us a stereotype that we can build on. But that's wicked. The world gives us a stereotype of what a black man is, or who a black man is. If you're really paying attention, this is one reason why I don't look at television, because majority of the relationships that they show on a commercial is between a black woman and a white man. I see so many interracial commercials to the point to where it disgusts me on TV, because no other nation of people can teach us how to be the type of men that we are. No other nation of people can raise our children the way that we should, right? So we have a great task. And us being husbands, we have to care for, if we're masters of the house, then we're in neighborhoods. So then you have brothers imagine you got a neighborhood of 10 homes, and in each one of these homes there is a master of the house. So then we mastered our community. We gain control over the influences that are around about. But guess what? If there is no man in the home, then there is no master of the home. Then the home is weakened. If there is no man in the home, which the man represents the husband, the one who brings forth the increase, the protector. If there is no master in the house, then the house is weak. Husband is a master of the home. If there's no man there, trust and believe. If people didn't see me with my wife, they'll be at her. That's what Hashatan do. Come to the woman, constantly coming to the woman, to try to infiltrate. But if there's no man in the house, then the house is weak, because the man represents the master of the home, right? But if the man is not, if the man is not structured to be a master of the home, then the house is still weak, because he's going based on the emotions that he was raised in by his mother. The house is still weak because he's full of emotions, right? So if we're to render to the wife due benevolence, then that's desire to do well wishes. Because they have to respect the fact that we are masters of the home. They got to respect the fact that if we weren't here, that you'll be more prone to Hashatan coming in and infiltrating you and occupy your space. Occupy your mental space, occupy your physical space. But see, this is what the strength is for. A husband is a master of the house, right? So then in us being masters of the house, we're supposed to know how to put homes in order. I've stepped into people's houses that consider themselves priests and their damn house ain't even clean. But you're a master of the house, though. If you're a master of the house, you're supposed to know how to make sure, you're supposed to know where everything go from the kitchen to the bedroom to the living room. Everything should be in order in your house because you are the master thereof. You put things in order. You set things aright. You receive instructions from the Father and he give it to you to move forward with. This is our job. But you got some men that say, oh, I don't know how to cook. I don't cook or clean, or do I wash my clothes. Nigga, that's what mothers do for their children. You don't need a wife to do that type of shit for you. You need a helpmeet. Man, I wash my own clothes. I wash dishes too because I know how I want it done in my house because I've mastered household duties. Right? So then in me mastering household duties, I'm teaching my children how to and what I want done and how I want it done in my house. If my dish is stacked up in my cabinet wrong, man, look, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to refix it and put the order in. And then I'm going to tell them, this is how I want it done. If my tool bag or if my seasoning cabinet, let's just say the seasoning cabinet is unorganized, I go in, I change it, and I tell them this is how I want it done. If the dishes are not clean right, I go in, I wash them, I tell them, look, make sure y'all get this, that, and the third. Make sure you get in the cracks and the corners and the crevices so that it can be clean. But we got to bring forth the structure. We got to bring forth the instructions. We got to set the order with all things. If I'm washing clothes and I fold my clothes this way, my wife can go wash my clothes. She fold my clothes wrong. I'm going to tell her this is how I want my clothes folded. Right? That's just, it's minute, but it has to start somewhere for you to say that you can control the tabernacle of the Father. For you to say that you a priest, that you can control and monitor the tabernacle or the sanctuary of the Father. You can't even put your own house in order.
Put on the ass to watch what you watch.
How so? How so are you a priest? Right? It's essential, man. It's essential that we obtain these character traits so that once we classify ourselves as something that we know in full what exactly we're classifying ourselves to be. Because it's not just a word. It's a way of life. It's not just a term. These are character traits that got to be embodied and exemplified. Watch out. Move. Right? Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. It says, husbands, love your wives even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. The word gives instructions. It says, husbands, love your wives even as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. Right? Let's break this down. because it sounds like we're to submit. But the way Christ loved the church is that he instructed them. He gave them He gave them instructions. And when they followed the instructions, there was the love. So the church that followed Christ served Christ. And Christ was like, I got all these people behind me. I got to feed them. I got to take care of them. This is the church that the Father is talking about. That's being spoken of here. Those that follow Christ and adhere to his teachings and his understanding and believed that he was sent by his Father. Right? So it says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. So then the church loved Christ. So in order for Christ to have given himself to the church, it had to be love there. So in order for us to love our wives as Christ loved the church got to love us. We got to give ourselves to it. Show the example. Be the example. We got to be the example. We got to show forth good fruits in order for the good fruits that we want them to show to spring forth. It got to be the seed that we plant. It's the seed that we plant, right? So if we want good fruit, we got to sow that seed. It's on us first because we are the husbandmen. We till the soil. We plant the seed. It got to be us first. So in that, once it's done, then you can receive an increase. You might have to do a little pruning. You might have to, change the soil in certain instances. But at the end of the day, it's our objective to show forth what it is we desire as men. But we have to know. We have to know. So we abide in our Father's house. This is our Father's temple, right? So all that come in got to abide by our Father's rules. That's the only way Christ loved the church. He didn't give himself he didn't just give himself to those that didn't believe. He healed believers. He didn't heal non-believers because non-believers didn't come to him. So they weren't a part of this church that he said he gave himself for, not the non-believers. It says, verse 26, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, because the word is the cleansing. So what is that? Those are the instructions of the household, making those in your home pure with the understanding, making those in your home pure with the instructions given by the Father. Right? That he might present it to himself a glorious church. So if we receive these instructions and we want certain things done the way that we want done, this is where when these things are done, we are made better. We are made whole. We have become one. We have become one in intention. We have become one with instruction. We have become one through morality. We have become one with organizing and instruction, right? In the same one flesh, in the same body, right? That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be set apart and without blemish, right? So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it. Nourisheth and cherisheth it, right? So if when I met my wife, I wasn't doing the vegan thing. I wasn't even concerned about health. I wasn't even health conscious, but she was my helpmeet, and she helped me be conscious to that. So I took that understanding, because the Father doesn't allow us to come into certain information for no reason. So when I came into that understanding, I embodied that understanding. And I made that part of my household. And I made that part of what I nourish into my home, because physical nourishment is one thing. Spiritual nourishment is a key thing. right? Spiritual nourishment is a key thing. So when I met her, it was something that I was able to pick up from her. But when I met her, it was something that I was able to nourish her with as well, because I was able to give understanding according to scripture, and it nourished her spirit to be able to be a wife in my home. And we reconstructed certain things. We went through trial and error as normal, per usual. But at the end of the day, the objective of keeping the order, the objective of keeping the law and putting things in order the way that the Father wanted it done is imperative, right? So as husbands, we being the masters of the house, we cannot allow other entities to come in to manipulate what we have established, right? What did Satan do? The very first thing. What was the very first thing that he did? He came in between the man and the woman. The second thing that he did was he came in between brothers. He is on the attack. He is on the attack against the families. Every family, he's on attack. The very first thing Hashatan did was come in between the man and the woman. He attacked the family. Then he attacked brotherhood. Shoot, once he do that, then that's what it was talking about in Job. Shit, he go to and fro throughout the earth seeking what else is there for him to do. Once he come in between the man and the woman, then he come in between brothers. Shit, his task is done. Now he going to and fro seeking what else he can do. He does the same thing every time. The very first relationship that he came in between was between. Let me bag up. The very first relationship that he came in between was between man and the father, then man and the woman, because he infiltrated with the woman, because Adam wasn't complete in his mastering of his home, because she was given to him, and he said, "Oh, if this is a part of me, whatever she desires is a desire for me." But notice, after all of those sins transpired, he said to the woman, your husband will rule over you. Off the top, your husband will rule over you. So us being masters of the home, we have to rule over our homes and be watchmen at the gates of everything. Look, watchmen at every gate. I gotta watch my son. I gotta be sure I'm watching what he watching, because what comes through his gates comes into my house. What he see and what he entertain with come through my house. It's the same for my wife and my other children. Watchmen, masters of the home. We got to be diligent, right? So in rebuilding relationships between a man and a woman, you basically saying, okay, we finna kick Satan out. We finna kick him out, and we got to keep him out. Because the only person that can come in between us is Hashatan. That's his objective. He been destroying households from the beginning. He been showing men not being worthy of masters of their homes from the beginning. Are you a husband? Am I a master of my house? Can I keep Hashatan out? Can I keep Satan out? We gotta ask. It's a heavy question. Can I groom my children to know how to pay attention to wicked attributes in a person, right? When one requires a relation with my daughter, they gotta come through me. Am I worthy? Damn right, because what I'm gonna raise my daughters to be, I gotta make sure your son is capable of accepting or receiving it. If not, then I'm not marrying my daughters off. It's strictly important, man. That's why Abraham said, don't go get a woman from the Canaanite women. Go get a woman from my kinsmen. Because they knew that they had the same moral compass. We got to be on the same level. We got to be entertaining our spirit with the same thing. And as a man, as a master of the house, I got to make sure that your spirit is entertained with all things that the master provides. Right? Because I'm going to my master to receive these instructions so that I can pour them into my house. But if you dishonor what the master of the house and the establishment of the master of the house, how much more are you opening the door for Satan? You just cracking the door open. Leaving the door cracked open. Man, we putting deadbolt locks on the doors. building hedges of protection on the inside. Man, on the inside. Protecting our spirit from any gate. Protecting our spirit from anything that can cause us to fall into the hands of the wicked. We can fall into our own wicked hands by our own wicked imagination. Right? Colossians 2:8. It says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, and after the tradition of men. Right? They've taken so much, made what's righteous wicked. Put it into a wicked form, because they can never make what's righteous wicked. They took what was righteous and they flipped it and gave their own perspective to it, and that perspective is wicked. But they can never make what's righteous wicked, because what's righteous is righteous, and it's going to always be that. But they can take the image of something righteous and make their own wicked duplication of it, right? Right? So beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. This is also a lesson for our sisters, because you have more teachers than you have more teachers than you do have those who truly apply and make what they know, understand, and teach applicable. We got more teachers. We overloaded with teachers, man. Overloaded with teachers. So now what the Father's doing, now that we have an increase in teachers, now he got to prick the spirit and see if you're even worthy for the title that you give yourself. Because like the scripture said, it's better for another man's mouth. It's better for another man's mouth to praise you than your own, and so to speak. I'm not butchering it, but paraphrasing, right? It says, be well as any man spoil you through philosophy, right? The love of wisdom. And this is how a lot of women are spoiled and beguiled. Through philosophy. Philosophy is the love and the desire of wisdom. Every woman every single sister that I came across that we've been friends with said, oh, he know the scriptures. He know precepts. He real wise. He real wise. But you ain't checked the nigga background. That's what your daddy for. That's what the father for. That's what the master of the house for. To check the nigga background. You ain't check his background. You don't know his past traumas. You just know that the nigga know how to quote scriptures. No background check needed. No father of the house needed. And this is where we also err. Us as men got to be wise enough and strong enough in our spirit to take kinsmanship over sisters and make sure that, okay, whatever brother that she's entertaining or that wants to entertain her, we classify. But we got to be classified ourselves. We got to be certified. We got to be certified ourselves before we can sit up here and say, like, oh, having kinsmanship over sisters so that they won't get in relationships that end in divorce. Check the nigga background. Oh, you know he come from past traumas. He's swift with the script, though. But them past traumas crucial. Them past traumas crucial. You know what I'm saying? Been in domestic violence relationships in the past. Right? And a lot of these things are not truly healed when they come into the walk. They are not healed. They're covered up with knowledge. But they are not healed. These past traumas are not healed. So you got men coming into the walk, classifying themselves as husbands. And nobody's really regulating this thing. Tribal mentality. What you said, straight tribal mentality. Because ain't nobody gonna come through these doors requiring relations from any of my daughters without me checking their background. Who your dad is? What he like? Is his father still around? Let me go sup with them for a couple weeks. See what kind of energy I pick up. Because whatever energy I pick up from the man is gonna be in the son. It's real, man. We gotta go if the Most High say he gonna bless us from generation to generation, and he gonna give us the curses from generation to generation, shit, we need to check out the generations that come behind these people that we talking about relations with. Check. My wife could have checked my background. She knew my father. I wish she would have met my granddad, and she would have known where I am. Still a little damage from the worldly ways and behavior, but they can be reformed and corrected. They most definitely can. They most definitely can. And it takes time. It takes time, and it takes help. A lot of brothers too prideful to receive the help. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they don't even pick the right help. You know, like the help that they pick, the help that they pick is going through, you know, detrimental relationship issues. And we taking relationship advice from people that's going through relationship issues, so they give you bad advice. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it can be reformed and it can be corrected. It most definitely can. Man, we got to be so strict in our connection and our communication with the Father that he gives us all wisdom necessary to discern any and everything. I don't give a damn what it is. Discern. I don't give a damn if it's the spirit of a 3-month-old. Man, you got to consult with the Father for discernment of all spirit. For all spirits. It don't matter what it is, because what happens is, if we are not aware, it says, beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. So if we're not aware, if we're not discerning, then we can be easily spoiled and beguiled through philosophy, after the tradition of man, after the rudiment of the world, and not after Hamashiach. Right? So then this is what happens throughout some of the congregations. This is what happened throughout the churches. So they set these certain standards, right? And some of these standards are solid, but they are not respected. Even in the Christian world, they know to go to the Father, but they not obtaining the wisdom from the Creator of all things. They're not going to the ultimate source to have the understanding to deal with the situation at hand. They just respect the fact that, oh, your son came to me, right? This is what they are doing in the world. A man to come and ask the father for their daughter's hand in marriage. He didn't already have relations with him. And the father be like, oh, I respect that fact that he came. But the father still don't do no background check on you. Background check the women too. Because they come from past traumas too. And you got to know that you got to know that, okay, this is something that I can work with. As long as you're willing to work on it. I can work with it as long as you're willing to work on it. But our objective is not to continue to throw their traumas in their face. Our objective is to show the fruits of the opposite of their trauma. That's our objective. My objective is if my wife went through something traumatized, and I want to show the opposite and bear the fruit opposite of her trauma, and not remind her of the trauma. All right. So if the trauma sparks within her, and I'm saying like, oh, you know what I'm saying, you this not that. Background checks and spiritual observation should be a standard for facts, bro. Background check, man. You know, because all of those things that weren't healed from those past traumas are going to eventually show. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, you don't really know nobody until you live with them. Until you've lived with them, seen them on there every day, seen them at they high and at they low. You don't know nobody till you live with them. So what my thing was, and I wrote out a courtship contractual agreement. Courtship contractual agreement to stop this whole sex is marriage doctrine, because you got low-key Israel, low-key fornicators behind this doctrine. Big fornicators with a big F. Because they hide behind this doctrine, and they doing it just because it say that that's what it is. But there's no stipulation, no regulation, no structure to that. It's just that. Sex is marriage. I'm finna lay down. Oh, yeah. you know what I'm saying, you done tapped it now. Oh yeah, you my wife now. So then if that's the case, where does fornication come in? Where does adultery come in? You know, you got people out here, bestiality, so that means that they married to the donkey. Come on, man, let's not be simple and not take the Most High's word in vain as nothing. Everything that he does is structure. Everything that he does is ordinance, ordained, order. Come on, man, don't play my father like he's some chump, because you want to be a chump. Take responsibility, man. This is what the Father's word teaching us. Take responsibility. We got the greatest task. We're masters of the home. We're gatekeepers. We got to keep things out. And we got to go to the Father for those tools and understanding how to be a master of the home. If we know that we got to go to the Father to even obtain a wife, we got to go to her father to even add her into our home. So then in that father's judgment, when he judges me before I take his daughter, what would he see? Are you worthy? Are you a husband for real? When the father of the woman that you desire come and check your background, what are you going to say? Nigga, please. Come on. Or will he going to say, oh yeah, this young man is worthy. This young man is worthy. I've tried his spirit. You know, what he going to say? What's going to be said about you? Gotta stop. Got to. Man, it's so much hid behind gaining the knowledge of the Father that it's scary. It's more things hid behind the information than it is information. You got a lot of brothers pumping out information. You know why? Because they constantly hiding what's behind. I got like, say for instance, slob drooling down my mouth, right? But I'm gonna hold this up right here so you won't see the slob, right? Then I'm gonna hold this up, you know what I'm saying? But I'm steady drooling. I need to fix my face. But I don't want you to see it because I'm just giving you the knowledge. I'm just putting book after book after book in front, script after script after script in front of your face, so you can't even see me. You can barely even see who I truly am. You can't hide behind a word because it'll eventually show. Character flaws, we all have them. Can you be wide? Can you be strong enough to be like, you know what, I got a few character flaws. I got an attitude problem for real. Like, I got a problem. You know what I'm saying? I got a problem with lust. You know what I'm saying? Can you say that? I got a problem with lust. I don't think I need to. You know what I'm saying? Can you be straight up with yourself? Can you say, man, I got a problem with anger. I got a problem with this. I'm gonna work on it, but you know what I'm saying? Can you be sincere enough, not just speak it, but sincere enough to understand that what you spoke, you're accountable of? Because some people tell you that they got a problem just so that you can accept it, and they don't never really work on it. But they said, well, I told you. Well, I told you. You told them from a sense of, I got a problem with it, but you ain't really trying to fix the problem. But you told them just to give them a heads up that you have a problem that you truly not ready to fix. You know what I'm saying? Because if you real and you sincere about it on your own, it's like, you know what, man, I'm dealing with past traumas, man. I was, you know what I'm saying, I'm dealing with lust probably because I was molested when I was a child, so it's weighing on me heavy. I don't want to deal with you right now. That I don't want to deal with your part is the part that they can't really muster up and say, like, I ain't really worthy right now. I ain't really worthy. They'll confess, but they'll continue into relation. But in true understanding of any issue that we may have, it causes you to bag up. You know what? I'm not worthy. I'm dealing with something right now, and I don't want to intertwine you with these different emotions that I'm having. Gotta be accountable for yourself, addressing these issues up front and willing to heal. Big facts. You gotta be willing to heal. You can't just confess. That's the first step. You gotta confess. You gotta repent. You gotta ask for forgiveness, and you cannot do it again. It's a 4-step process, man. You got 4 quarters. Facts. Facts, bro. It gotta get that real. Gotta be real with yourself. Like, if I knew what I knew now, I would have waited with my wife. I would have still chose her, but I would have waited a little longer. You know what I'm saying? I would have waited. Just being real. But as I'm in this thing, I'm like, all right, Abba. I went strictly to the Father. All right, give me the tools. I need the tools. I know I was moving a little too fast. But can you reconstruct what I've indulged in? So we can just put it on the right way. Because you can fix what you damaged. But some people get in there, they damage that thing, and then they want to walk away from it. They damage it, then they want to push it off like, oh, they push it off on their trauma. They push it off on somebody else's traumas like their traumas wasn't involved. But see, when you a master, are you a husband? See, when you a master of the house, you master all things. There's no task that you run from. Now, I'm finna master this thing. I'm finna master it. Like, Abba, give me the tools. I'm finna master this thing. Like, masters don't run from task. Daily self-examination. Barak the Most High, man. All praises to the Most High. See, masters don't run away from tasks. If you a master of the house, we gonna kick. We gonna kick dope for real. We gonna make it happen. Like, I ain't finna shame the Father's name and put myself in the midst of fornication and I already done laid with you. I gotta take on the task. You gotta master that thing. No running. No escaping. You said sub, meaning submissive. It said us men have to be willing to be submissive. I think that's what the act trying to say, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to misquote. Submissive, compassionate, tender-hearted with the women of Israel, right? Now, I wouldn't go as far as saying submissive, but compromise. There's most definitely have to be compromise there, because the key thing is compatibility, right? We have to be compatible. It goes back to Abraham choosing a wife for his son. He knew the compatibility that the women had for his son. He knew what type of woman he wanted his son to marry, because they were raised from his kindred. Compatibility, right? We have to be compatible. We don't need to submit. We have to compromise in certain instances. When I met my wife, I wasn't with veganism, but I compromised because it was good for me. You know what I'm saying? I came into when I came into a connection with my wife, she encouraged the whole fitness, veganism thing. And when I went to California, it was just fitness capital. It was something that the Father was trying to tell me. And I took that and I accepted it. And in compromising is a form of submission. So I submit to compromise. You know what I'm saying? I don't submit to the rule or the rule or the structure of the woman, but I submit to compromise so that she can be happy as well. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta be real. You know what I'm saying? Wise with that thing, because some of our sisters listening, we don't want to get them. We don't want them to be, you know what I'm saying, having no idea. You know, but all praise it, man. We love y'all for real though. For real. But we just trying to rebuild and restructure the, man, like, what we know. We gotta rebuild and restructure our emotions. We've been raised by women. You know what I'm saying? We've been raised by women, and the women been raised by women. So all we know is, don't play with that. Hey, boy, leave that alone. So all we know is feminine energy. We're not familiar with the masculine energy. So when some men tap into their masculine energy, they overly masculine. They over aggressive, right? and there's no balance to it. You know what I'm saying? So then you don't go straight into being a husband when you come into this knowledge. It's a training. You know what I'm saying? Trial period. This is why the courtship agreement is necessary, so that you could take time to even understand like this person's background, what they went through in their past. Because a woman might look at him as a husband, but he might not be classified as a husband. He might not be one that is a master of a home. He might not even have been taught how to tend to a home. This is why the father had to choose the husband for the daughter. Because men know a man when he see one. You know a drunkard when you see one. Oh, that boy doped up. Look at him. You know when he come in, if he high or not. So you can't hear nothing? A father can sense a weed head, man. Tell me, can y'all hear me? Because the ox say he can't hear anything anymore. Somebody let me know if y'all can hear me. Right? Okay, con. So, it's crucial, man. It's imperative. It's imperative. We gotta get to the point to where we are fathers worthy to come to approve someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like even in the same instance, like I was saying earlier, like kinsmanship. We gotta be strong enough brothers that have taken control over our flesh, taken control over our lust, and say, look, you know what, sis, look, I'll take kinsmanship over you. I don't want nothing to do with you. But I'll take kinsmanship over you to help you regulate and put things in perspective concerning the spirit of man that you choose. I'll help you do that. Without taking any initiative of being a husband to her, but just being a kinsman and taking kinsman headship over her. Right? Some of us, for some brothers, it might be hard. You know what I'm saying? Or for some brothers, it might be hard to do. You know what I'm saying? Or if your relationship is open to polygyny, and you know how to order it in a manner where there will be no conflict of interest within your home, then hallelujah. Right? Let's jump to Acts chapter 20, verse 28. Acts chapter 20, verse 28. It says, take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock, right? So a kinsman or a husbandman tended to flock, right? It says, take heed therefore unto yourselves first and to all the flock over the which the Holy Spirit had made you overseers to feed the church of Elohim, which he had purchased with his own blood. For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. He's telling you to be a herdsman, a husbandman, tending to the flock, being a master of the house, a protector, right? Because Hashatan, the wolves, raging wolves, will enter in and they won't regard anything. But again, women that don't have a covering are more prone to Hashatan coming in. Women that don't have a covering are more prone to be ravished by wolves. Right? Verse 30. Also, of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things, to draw away disciples after them. Right? To draw away disciples after them. We got to be careful. Because if with us as men being weak can be beguiled and taken into captivity. Us being men being weak can be beguiled, and we'll find ourselves sitting under a man and sitting under another man in another man's church, and our women won't even adhere to us being masters of the house. They'll tell us to go to the pastor. They'll tell us to go to the leadership because they don't respect us enough in our mastering of our own home. So that's one thing. That's another reason why I say, man, I'm free from all that. I'm free from discord. I'm free from the doctrines of any man. I'm free from being under any man. I only serve the Father and His Son. You know what I'm saying? In that order. Because what happens is, when you become a part of these congregations, there are men over the men. There are men over you. So then basically, you're not the head of your household. Another man is, because he has control and rule over you and what you do. So then if you have problems in your house, you have to go to the leadership. Right? So then your wife don't even respect you as a man. Because you have a leader over you that's another man and not Christ. That's why I ain't bunking with it. I ain't bunking with it, period. We go fellowship with brothers. Whoever teaching, that's cool. If I need counsel, you know what I'm saying, I'll diligently seek counsel concerning whatever it is I need counsel on. But I ain't letting, no sir. Because the minute you let another man counsel you in your marriage, the minute your authority goes somewhere else. The minute you being a master of your home is relinquished. And it's nothing wrong with counseling. That's not what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with counseling. The problem is that you don't really know who's counseling you. They can give, like I said, that's my problem. It's not my problem, not with counseling. It's who's counseling. Because you could barely see me. I'm constantly throwing books in your face. Who behind the books, man? Are you all that you say that you are in your marriage? Are you all that you say that you are in your marriage before you can sit up here and think you can counsel mine? You know, you got brothers sitting at the top of these camps. Nobody know. You got brothers sitting at the top of these camps and they whoremongers. You got brothers sitting at the top of these camps and they fulfilling their lust on the people in the congregation because ain't nobody gonna say nothing to them because they don't have counsel and because they are the counsel. Wicked. We need to be free. We need to be free, man. Let me get one scripture out of the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus Sirach 4:29. Sirach 4:29. Sirach 4:29. It said, Sirach 4:29. Liberated and free. Big facts, bro. Liberated and free. It says, Sirach 4:29, it says, be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss, right? So then us being masters of the house, we can't be quick to rebuke and chastise and things of that sort. And then in our deeds, we ready to be swift with the tongue to teach and tell somebody what their duties is, but in our deeds, slack and remiss. Like, long as I can tell you what to do, I'm good. Like, bring me a sandwich. Looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro. Like, you gotta, if you want your wife to cook for you, you gotta tell her how you want your food to be done. You damn near gotta cook. And show her meal plans. Like, this how I like to eat. Boom. Like, I like this. Try this. What you think about that? All right, cool. I like my asparagus with lemon pepper. So then, boom. All right, you set the tone. Boom, she follow. We got to be masters of the house. We got to know how to do everything we ask and require our wives to do. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. This is how I hit the dishes up. I stack them up like this. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm using these physical things just to show, like, I'm just using these physical things just to show, like, structure and order. right? Because if we can structure in order the physical, we can structure in order the spiritual. Everything spiritual exemplifies in the physical. So if there's nothing physical exemplifying in your character, that means that you only have head knowledge. It's not applied spiritually. It's not applied spiritually. So it says, be not hasty in thy tongue, and in thy deeds slack and remiss. It says, verse 30, be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic among thy servants. Be not as a lion in thy house, nor frantic amongst thy servants. What is frantic? To be anxious, hasty, chaotic, right? Something don't go your way. Something don't go your way, you frantic. Like, man, you got me. Man, look, I've been there, done it. It don't work. I've been there, done it. It don't work. I got to the point to where if I feel an altercation coming on, I'll be like, all right, look, we good. We'll talk about it later. Just completely shut it down, because there's no real fruit gonna come behind going back and forth and being frantic and being hasty in thy tongue. There's no real fruit coming behind being hasty in thy tongue. The woman was already given to us as a weaker vessel. Why we gotta exercise power over them? They already given to the weaker vessel. You don't get no points in exercising your power and authority over a woman. He said he gonna give us these nations to inherit and they land. That makes you weak, exercising your strength over a woman she was already given to you as a weaker vessel. Are you a husband, man? I ain't never hit my wife. I ain't never beat on her. Me and her, we had a little tussle one time. Let me be straightforward. We had a little tussle one time, and that was the last time I said, look, we ain't gonna never do this again. And I said I mastered that thing, right? So we had one slight altercation. One slight altercation, man. Me being a husband, I gotta master every situation that I go through, because if I don't master it, then I'm not a husband. Because I am a master of a home. If I have these problems in my home, I have to master the way to get them out. Not give up, not walk away, but master the task. Taskmaster, man. We taskmasters. We cannot be full of so much knowledge that we can't exemplify what we know. You can have more knowledge than you can exemplify. But it starts with exemplifying what you know already before you continue to try to embody more understanding or inherit more understanding. Because when you embody it, you move in it. You do it. You be it. You are it. So you have a lot of brothers walk away because they do not know how to master the situation. They do not know how to master the environment that they put themselves in and the task that they gave to themselves. We got a greater task than some of the women when we talk about being husbands, being masters of the home. All that we want our wives to know and do, we gotta know it and do it to teach it. Because we think about it like this: all that we desire from our wives, guess what? We got, in a Hebraic culture, we got to go ask the father, oh, I desire your daughter. Because this, that, and the third, I desire your daughter because I know that you're a man of certain standards, right? So I'm going to the father of this daughter that I desire, right? I desire your daughter because you are a man of certain standards, and I know that your daughter will be fit for me, right? So then by us being in a society that doesn't operate in that form, we as men know what we want our women to do. We have to know all that we want them to know. Whether it's cooking, cleaning, tending to the children, we got to teach them how to do it. Because if they don't come from a background that had taught them, we got to master reconstructing the household. We got to master reconstructing the household. It's a task for us. If we don't get it, they ain't going to get it. When I met my wife, I taught my wife how to cook something. She knew a little something, but you know what I'm saying? Like, she got 10 times better than when I met her. You know what I'm saying? When I met my wife, like, it was a lot that I had to do. I had to master this thing. Like, and I'm still working. It's still a work in progress. You know what I'm saying? It's still a work in progress. It was some things that I had to teach her. You know what I'm saying? From you know, household duties and chores and things of that sort. But now that she knows me and understands me and my husbandry, we build in compatibility. Because in certain instances, you got to build compatibility, man. And compatibility is important. Compatibility and compromise is important. Extremely important. We talking about building unions that's going to keep Satan out. If we talking about building unions that's going to keep Satan out, we talking about building compatibility. Being in a car, being one mind, one body, one sound. Man, look, we need to be so connected. We wake up at the same time with no alarm. We got to be so connected to one another that we brush our teeth alike. We got to be so connected to one another that, man, like, we got to be connected, man. We got to be knit tight like a sewing machine, bro. Because it's the first objective for Hashatan. Oh, they go a married. Hashatan waiting for people to get married and say that they married. Oh, y'all married? Here I come. Because that's what he does. That's what Hashatan do. That was the first relationship that he came in between was Adam and Eve. He came in between a man and a woman. The very first thing that he did, the very first thing that he destroyed on this earth was the relationship between the father and the son and the man and the woman. Calls us to break the commandments of the Father. He came in between the man and the woman by coming in between the man and the woman. Come on, man. We got to be more strategic than Satan, because they said that the Most High said that, damn, the serpent was wise. This is why he tell us to be harmless as a dove, but wise as a serpent. Yeah, the serpent was wise. Y'all think Hashatan a dummy. No, he's wise. But obtaining the wisdom of the Father makes us wiser. A snake slick. Everything of the Father's creation has its own wisdom for its own survival purposes. The serpent was wise, bro. He wasn't no dummy. Say he wasn't no pushover. How you think he was able to infiltrate? He's smooth criminal. Smooth criminal. We got to be wiser than him. So then, therefore, if we're in our Father's house, only way he can get in is through our Father. See, we backed by the Father. So if we build our houses backed by the Father, Hashatan can't come in. Because who at the door keeping the door? Oh, you gotta answer to my Father for that. By me being, I'm answering the door, but the Father covering the household. I'm just at the door. Father got the house. So again, I'm going to most definitely lead this lesson up. We got to draw that question, man. We got to draw that question. We got to draw that question. We got to see if we got to see ourselves in that light. Or if we don't see ourselves in that light, we got to pull ourselves out of the darkness to be in that light. Because we got sons to raise. And if we not equipped and we full of emotion and contention and anger, imagine if we plant a seed. What we planting a seed in that same energy? It's spiritual, man. You still dealing with your past traumas. You ain't healed from your past traumas. Boom, you go plant a seed. Your son got all that. The seed that you bring forth is inheriting all that energy that you never healed from. So that's why it goes from generation to generation, because there is no healing process. Just cover it up with the word. Can't keep doing it. Can't keep doing it that way. Gotta heal. Before you can even count yourself worthy. Some men just want to be husbands because they ain't getting none. You know what I'm saying? Some women just want to be wives because they ain't getting none. Gotta put the lustful temptations under subjection. You know what I'm saying? Because we desire companionship. We all desire companionship. That's human nature. But human nature is not above spiritual instinct. You cannot put human nature above spiritual instinct. Yeah, it's human nature for you to want to, have companionship and, have intercourse and have children. That's human nature, but it doesn't go above spiritual discernment. It don't go above it. Put it under subjection. You got to put the flesh under subjection of the spirit. It's a war. And if we don't fight the war inside, how the hell we going to fight the war without? What we fighting for? To turn over into the kingdom of sin again? Nah. We ain't on that type time. So, really self-evaluate, really reflect, man. Am I really a husband? Do I bring forth the increase? Am I a master of the home? Do I know how to keep Hashatan out? Do I know how to teach what I want and desire inside my house? Am I worthy of obtaining a Proverbs 31 woman? Because when we say we are masters of the house, and when we say we are husbands, we are finding ourselves worthy of a woman of that statue. Are we worthy of a woman, of a Proverbs 31 woman? Are we worthy of that type of caliber of woman for real? So y'all know I'm coming back behind this one with Are You a Wife? I most definitely. He that is married is okay, but he that is not grateful, but he that is not as grateful as Yahuwah. He said he that is married is okay, but he that is not is grateful as the Most High. Okay. But we got to also, I understand, I think that's something that Paul had said. I think that was one of the things that Paul had said, like, I don't want to butcher it, but married, those that are married tend to their spouses, and those that are single tend to the deeds of the Father. But truthfully, I've been around, I can't even count how many single people I've been around that desire companionship, that's not entertained with the Father and His commandments, but really truly desiring. A woman by herself is incomplete. That's why they desire companionship. Men by themselves are incomplete. That's why they desire companionship. The Father gave us commandment. He said, be fruitful and multiply. How do we do that? We come together. We are made and created and designed for one another. We're not better without. We're better together. That's why Hashatan first task was to come between the man and the woman. And when he did that, the man blamed the woman and the woman blamed the man. We gotta get back to a state where there's no finger pointing. We take responsibility together. We gotta get back to a state where when the Father created us from the beginning, He created us in His image. He created us in His image. Like there's a family structure in a Shamayim. That's why as it is in earth, as it is in heaven, as it is in earth, as it is in heaven. The family structure came from the beginning. There's family structure in the Shamayim, in the heavens, in the throne of the Father. This is how He was able to bring it to us. You know what I'm saying? There's more power in a family structure. That's why even this system is built on the confines and construct of Hashatan. Because what do? A woman cannot get government assistance if you got a man in the house. They don't want the man to be there in order for them to assist you because they don't want to assist us. Right? So there's power in the family. When we see like shows like Family Matters went off air, the Cosby's went off air, made a laughing stock and diminished the image of the black man, right? Come on. It's something with the family structure that this world, especially with us, you know what I'm saying? Something with the family structure that this world hates about us. Because if we increase and we grow in number, they'll become just like those in Egypt. It's like, man, they increasing, they growing in number, they having all these babies. Eventually they're gonna overtake us. They do not want us to rule. Because the more righteous seed that we put out into the universe, the more of us it'll be out here to conquer the world. They do not want us to be fruitful and multiply. They don't want that, because then that means that there will be a generation to come that will rebel. And if there are fathers in the house, there will be a generation of soldiers and militant men ready to conquer the world. They don't want that. They want to keep us docile. Because see, with the woman and feminine energy, they can keep us emotional. But with the man, it's a balance. My children see a balance. They go to their mama crying. I stand up and I say, get over there and sit down. They go sit down. My son, today, I'm going to give you this story. And I'm going to shut it down from here. My son was crying to my wife. My son was crying to my wife. My wife pulled him some water in a little bottle. And she handed it to him. He didn't take it. So she set the bottle on the counter. I grabbed the bottle. I grabbed the empty bottle. I poured the water in the bottle. He checking my body language. I poured the water in the bottle. And I gave it to him. He took it and he drank it. Because what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to play with you with no emotions. Either you're going to take it or you don't. We establish order. We're not supposed to move off emotions. Though we get emotional, but our job is to establish the order and disregard the emotion behind it. When I gave him the water, he took it and he drank it. But he was just whining because children know that women are emotional. They can pick that sense up. They are nurturers. Leave them in their spot. Let's take over our spot and not let them have to do what they got to do and then try to do what we supposed to do too. Nah, we're supposed to establish the order and let them nurture. Establish the order and let them nurture. Because when I gave my son that water, my wife looked like, it's the effect of the man's spirit, man. It's the Elohim within us. The Godhead within us. The mastering of the household. Like, look, boy, you going to take this water. If you ain't going to take it, go over there and sit down. Mm-hmm. Not everything can be done in a passive manner. Some things got to be done in aggressive forms. You think Abba going to come here passively and say, all right, y'all done all the wickedness y'all can do. Now let's just stop. Most happening. It's like when you leave, like if I was to leave my home and I tell them, man, when I come back home, I don't want no dishes in this sink. I don't want this house dirty. I don't want nothing messed up in my house. I leave the house, I come back, they done had a big water fight, my walls wet, my dishes piled up in the sink. You don't think I'm finna come tear some ass up? Man, I'm finna come wreck. And that's what the Father's gonna do. Because he gave a task, he gave a mission, he gave instructions, right? So outside of following those instructions, you reap the consequences regardless of how you feel. Regardless of how you feel. This is us in a physical form. We are the Godhead of the world, man. And when the Father come back, that's why he said we gonna get the punishment first, because we were the ones who he left to have control and have rulership over the world. We allowed these damn heathens to come into our home, our earth, which was ordained for us, and take over. Now, when he comes back and reconstruct, we will be masters. We will be husbandmen again. We will be masters of the house of Elohim. See? We'll be masters in, But from this point, we gotta set our heart aright, constantly endure. And I pray that everything that was said and spoken in spirit and in truth. I pray that revelation, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding was given. And man, let's reflect, man. Let's reflect, because I got a lesson for the sister too. And I got a question for the sisters too. Are you a wife? We got a lot of sisters throwing that Proverbs 31 out there, but are you? We got to ask that question too. So I'm probably going to follow up with that tomorrow. Because I ain't going to wait no week. I ain't going to let it marinate that long. I'm just going to boom, boom, come right behind it. They got to go together. So I'll probably follow up behind that with that tomorrow. I'm going to go fellowship with my brothers, man. I'm going to go convocate. I'm already late. But I'm going to go convocate with my brothers. And the Most High be with y'all, man. Let's continue to self-reflect, because what it is it's not the knowledge that's going to get us in. We got to groom the spirit man to take control over the flesh, because it's going to be a type of person. It's going to be a type of man in the kingdom of the Father, one who considers the ways and the will of the Father. We got to put all of these spirits under subjection in order for us to even obtain the kingdom that we say that we're preaching for, that we're preaching others to obtain. It's a certain type of man that's going to get it. It's a certain type of man that's going to be able to make it in that certain type of place. And that's what I'm here for, to help regroom the spirit man to take control over the flesh, so that we can be that man that'll be able to enter into the kingdom of the Father's rest. I'm still working on it myself, and I try to make sure that I put every wicked thought under the subjection of righteousness. Even the thought got to be suppressed and compressed with the thought of righteousness. Because if we can think wicked, we can think righteous. It's a balance in every thought that we have. So before you even commit that sin, before you even go out and do that based on anger, it's always a thought in your head to reform it. You know, it's always a thought. So we working on this. We working on forming the spirit man to control the flesh, so that we can be one that obtains the kingdom that the Father is establishing for us on this earth. It's going to be a certain type of man. I ain't talking about a man of knowledge. I ain't talking about a man of wisdom. But a man of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We got to have that understanding, because what the understanding does, it causes you to move in it. The knowledge only causes you to know. The wisdom only causes you to be in love with what you know, but the understanding causes you to move and act in what you know. I understand it. I understand. Okay. Do this, that, and the third. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Now go do the task. That's what understanding is. All right? So with that being said, I pray that everything that was said and spoken was said and spoken in the spirit and in truth, man. We got to really put ourselves under subjection to what a husband really is. So I pray that this message was pure and its intentions was pure, and that y'all receive the understanding from it. So again, peace, love, and light. I pray blessings, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and revelation over each and every last one of you that chimed in, you and your house. And peace, love, and light to those that are in your presence as well. Shabbat shalom.